Information fueled.
Opinion driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
We talk news.
6:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, by the way, 4702 wants me to remind you, and it's a very good point, that in addition to some slick roadways across Middle Tennessee, kids are back in school today as well. So there is that too. So it's going to be a very busy morning out on the roadways. And
some of the schools, by the way, have already called it a day.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Man, I walked to school uphill both ways
With a potato in your hand for warmth.
with a potato in my hand for warmth, and it was like 15 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
So cue the usual conversation about how kids are coddled today. I'm not going to go down that road, but it is snowing in some parts of Middle Tennessee. So what we're asking you to do is wherever you are, let us know if it is snowing. 7686 says it is snowing in Murfreesboro, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's new because somebody else said it was still nice in Murfreesboro just a little while ago.
Well, we'll have to see what
This is exciting.
It's really not. It's snow, Joan.
No, it's snow, and that's what makes it exciting. We don't get that around here, right?
We get
a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever. I mean, listen, here's the deal. Just be safe, folks.
Yeah.
That's all we want you to do is be safe and let us know how the road conditions are around you. Now, there is a lot going on. And by the way, Super Text line is open. Very active this morning. Thank you. 615-737-9986. Everyone is hyper-focused. Trump is going to be confirmed today, of course, but everybody is really hyper-focused on what's going to happen on January 20th, as am I. This is going to be the day that Donald Trump's sworn in, so you've got to get a bunch of stuff done literally on day one. Donald Trump said within the first 9 minutes, one of the things that he wants to do is release the J6ers. I would love if the president did that. I want that to be perfectly honest, I want that to be number one. I want that to be executive order number one. Moving on from there, there's a big debate going on, and Joan actually had a little story on this about what is going to happen within Congress. As you know, by now, Mike Johnson is Speaker of the House. He was confirmed after we got off the air on Friday. So now they're working on this big reconciliation bill. Now, there's a debate going on within the Republican circles. One reconciliation bill, or should there be two bills? Two smaller ones versus one massive one. Well, Mike Johnson, newly confirmed Speaker of the House, he is bucking those that want two smaller bills in favor of one massive bill. That is what Donald Trump wants. Johnson was on with Maria Bartiromo.
I respect Lindsey Graham and all my friends who kind of preferred a two-step strategy. The idea would be get something done on the border and maybe defense spending right out of the blocks very quickly in what we would call a skinny reconciliation bill, and then do the rest of it in a larger chunk later. But I think at the end of the day, President Trump is going to prefer, as he likes to say, one big, beautiful bill. And there's a lot of merit to that because we can put it all together, one big up or down vote, which can save the country, quite literally, because there are so many elements to it, and it'll give us a little bit more time to negotiate that and get it right.
So he wants one big, massive spending bill. And I'm just going to tell you that if Joe Biden or Barack Obama and the Democrats in the House of Representatives, if they had the majority, if they tried this, Republicans would lose their ever-loving minds. And so my deal with you is I will always be honest with you. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm a little frustrated with this because the question is, how exactly are they going to be able to cut spending? Now, they're saying that they are going to eventually do that, and I'm going to have to take them at their word. But part of the conversation here has to be, you've got the Freedom Caucus, you've got a lot of Republicans who are fiscally conservative. They're spending hawks, right? And so they are in the House of Representatives. I will tell you that they held their nose and they supported Mike Johnson because of just this kind of thing. But Donald Trump himself, he wants the one massive spending bill. Now, he's got some things that he can do by executive order. on the 20th, but he also has to get some things done working with the Republicans in the House of Representatives. Remember, they've got a 5-seat majority. So this massive bill will have immigration, border enforcement, tax reforms, energy policy, and other items as well. But in the House, they do only have that 5-seat majority. Democrats, I think it's safe to say that they're not going to vote for this. So it's going to be Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson versus the conservative Republicans, House Freedom Caucus types, and so forth. And that's going to, in my opinion, be where they hit the snags.
I think that there's some things that are so common sense that we've got to fix on the border. We might even be able to get some Democrat votes on some of that legislation, but we'll pass it out of the House and send it over to the Senate and get it ready for when President Trump takes office on January 20th. We have a lot to do and a short amount of time to do it in.
Right. I wouldn't count on the Democrats, to be perfectly candid. But the other thing is, Republicans were always screaming about being able to maneuver around these bills so that they can keep some items, amend others, delete some as well. And they're not going to be able to do this. They're not going to be able to pass this bill without massive amounts of infighting, I believe. So here's an example. Donald Trump wants to start the deportation process, no tax on tips. I want you to think about all of the various promises that Donald Trump made, right? No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, extend his tax cuts, cut the corporate tax rate, all of this spending. How do you pay for it? Will there be spending cuts as well? See, that's where the negotiations come in. And then there's the issue of raising the debt ceiling. Remember, Donald Trump wanted the Democrats to do it. They refused. That was a big cluster. So now Trump and the Republicans have to do it. When will that happen? When will they realize that they do need to raise that debt ceiling?
I think we're going to have to do it in that bill. And the reason for that, Maria, is that we won't have to negotiate with Chuck Schumer and the Democrats on that. If you do it in reconciliation, you can do it just with the Republican Party. So we'll have very thoughtful discussion and debate about where that limit should go. But here's the important thing everybody needs to remember. We're the team that wants to cut spending, and we will. And we will do it dramatically. All the wasteful spending in government. You know, DOGE will be doing its effort in coordination with all this. But you have to raise the debt limit on paper so that we don't frighten the bond markets and the world's economy. You know how that works. It's about the stability of our economy. But we don't intend to spend to that limit, as President Trump will clarify all the time. We're going to raise the ceiling, but we are going to be cutting all along the way.
So this is one of those moments where, okay, going to take your word for it, but you've got all of these fiscal conservatives. You've got all of these folks that are hawks on spending, budget hawks, I think they call them. And they're not going to like all of this spending without budget cuts as well. And so this is going to be a big fight. And the Democrats, I'm just here to tell you, they're not going to help at all. And so the Republicans are going to have to own this, whether it is raising the debt ceiling, but then turning around and making as many cuts as they can, or if they don't make the cuts and they just raise the spending through tax cuts and other things, well, then they've got to be able to sell that to the American people as well. But he does want this voted on by April. So Trump is coming in and he's making certain demands. As Maria Bartiromo pointed out, by the way, you do have a ton of issues here. You have so many different elements that, again, we just pointed out. You've got border and taxes and raising the debt ceiling. And the question is, will they have enough cuts for those fiscal conservatives that I believe there's going to have to be a lot of negotiation. Now, coming up, Hakeem Jeffries. Did you hear his speech on Friday in the House of Representatives when he was talking about, he spoke right before Mike Johnson. And honestly, the things that he said, more gaslighting from the Democrats. I'm going to play just a few audio bites from the minority leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, just to show you, by example, that nothing has really changed with the Democrats, and they really haven't learned that the American people are onto them regarding all of the gaslighting and all the lies that they have been telling for the last 4 years. 6:16, time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you very much. 6:17 on Nashville's Morning News.
I love that.
There's some snow out there. Murfreesboro, 7742 says it just started snowing in Mount Juliet.
Spitting snow flurries in Laverne. That's from 2133.
Snow is falling in Nashville.
Oh.
Okay. So when I go to my commercial break, I'm going to scurry out to the Smokers Lounge outside. Think anybody's actually smoking out there?
With Fred Flintstone and
The
Barney.
Smokers Lounge. Yeah, see if we see Fred and Barney out there smoking. It's got to be miserable. You know what? If you're a smoker in this building, do you really go outside and smoke?
They have to.
Well,
I know they have to.
Oh, I'm saying, do you think they have like a secret place where they do it?
yeah, but there's signs all around the building that say even if you're a smoker, you can't smoke around the building outside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you haven't seen those?
Yeah.
Here's what I've seen. I've seen a bunch of people smoking next to the building.
I have seen cigarette butts outside.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of butts, Hakeem Jeffries, House
What a segue.
Beautiful transition.
I'm going to give you a hand for that one.
Radio
That's good.
Gold.
House Minority Leader had, I got to tell you, the biggest BS-laden speech ever on Friday. Mike Johnson, of course, was confirmed. And so Hakeem Jeffries comes up, and as the Minority Leader, he decided to have his say as well.
It's time for us to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans, to get things done for the people.
So first of all, clearly, I believe that he's an Obama wannabe, but here's the deal. Is this why there's so many Democrats as he's, saying, oh, yeah, we're going to be bipartisan. We're going to get things done for the American people. I guarantee you that they're not going to do anything to try to help the Republicans. And so the gaslighting will continue. We have Democrats that are refusing to attend Donald Trump's swearing in. They're pledging to block Donald Trump at every turn, every move he wants to make. So, by the way, not only in the House of Representatives, but also in blue states across the country.
Housing costs are too high.
I love this.
Grocery costs are too high. Child care costs are too high. Insurance costs are too high.
Nuh-uh.
Utility costs are too high. America is too expensive.
No kidding. It's kind of weird how he admits all of this during the campaign. All of this wasn't actually happening. They were awfully quiet about how expensive things were with Biden's inflation, or they just blamed Donald Trump, even though the numbers were very clear that inflation began after Joe Biden came into office and after Joe Biden started all of that insane spending. And so I do find it interesting now that Trump is coming into office. Now, finally, the Democrats are saying and agreeing, oh, yeah, stuff is kind of expensive. I got a few more audio bites, including the absolute best Hakeem Jeffries audio bite. It is coming up right before the news with Joan Jones at 6:30 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, what is coming up in the news?
Sorry, Dan, I wasn't ready. So we've got the latest information on our changing weather situation. And yeah, it does look like it's changing at the moment. Also, we'll tell you about a world leader who may be about to step down. Those stories coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. I know you're checking out all the snow cams across the city.
It's
That's
pretty
what you're
cool.
doing.
Yeah, actually, people are taking pictures and posting them on the text line.
Oh, great.
Which is
Okay.
nice, but please be safe. Like, don't take them while you're driving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please be safe, but we would love to see the photos. I'm going to check them out myself, and I'm going to head out to the Smokers Lounge and see if there's snow in the parking lot as well. You know, Dan Mattis here. I always recommend Mark Spain in Nashville because I trust that they're going to sell your home hassle-free with a strong all-cash offer. Now, they've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years now, and they've served over 58,000 families. And with all those clients, Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 12,500 five-star reviews. That is huge. 12,500 five-star reviews. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate, you can trust them to sell your home fast and for maximum profit and the least amount of hassle. That is the guaranteed offer. You know, the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends both have consistently named Mark Spain Real Estate as a top real estate team in America 8 years in a row now, including being ranked number 1 in the nation for closed transactions 5 years in a row. There's a reason they've got so much success. It is that guaranteed offer, a quick sale, and maximum profit. Be sure and tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Get a guaranteed offer on your home today. 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. Online anytime. MarkSpain.com and start packing.